Days ago, something happened that happened 6 times before. The balcony of Buckingham Palace filled with the royal family. King Charles, Queen Camilla, William, Catherine, George, Charlotte, Louis, and 2 people were missing. Again, for the 7th consecutive year, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were not on that balcony. The King's official birthday, Trooping the Color, June 13, 2026. And somewhere in California, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex watched a ceremony that Harry grew up in, that his mother stood in, that his grandmother presided over for 70 years, from 5,000 miles away. That image, the balcony with 2 empty spaces where Harry and Meghan once stood, is the most powerful symbol of where this family is in June 2026. But it is not the only story. Because in the same week that Harry and Meghan missed that balcony for the 7th year running, something else happened. They backed the British Prime Minister's proposal to ban social media for children under 16. They made a joint statement supporting UK legislation, taking a position in direct conflict with the US tech industry. Harry was photographed helping to barbecue at the Warrior Games in Texas for wounded veterans. Meghan shared new family photos, Harry in a gray girl dad t-shirt, playing football with Archie in the California sunshine. And, as ever, Meghan's lifestyle brand was simultaneously being reported as potentially facing bankruptcy, with website traffic down 33% and millions of dollars of perishable stock approaching expiration. This is Harry and Meghan in June 2026. Complex, contradictory, absent from the palace balcony, present everywhere else, and navigating a moment that will define whether the next chapter of their story is one of return, reinvention, or retreat. Tonight, we are telling the full verified story of exactly where Harry and Meghan stand right now. Every development, every tension, every possibility. This is Royal Report Daily, and this is the most current picture we have. Welcome to Royal Report Daily, your #1 destination for real royal news, verified investigations, and the stories the palace doesn't want you to find. I'm your host, and if you are new here, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell, because what we cover on this channel, you will not find anywhere else. Every single week, we go deeper, we go further, and we go to places the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. Tonight is one of those nights. Let's get into it. Let us start with the balcony, because it is the image that defines this moment more clearly than anything else. On June 13, 2026, King Charles's official birthday was marked with Trooping the Color, the annual ceremony in which the British military parades before the monarch and the senior royal family appears on the Buckingham Palace balcony to wave to the gathered crowds. It is one of the most watched moments in the British royal calendar, and Harry and Meghan were absent, as they have been every year since 2019. That year, 2019, was the last time Harry and Meghan appeared on that balcony together. It was one of the final times Meghan stood as a fully working senior member of the royal family. Since then, 7 years have passed. 7 Trooping the Colors. 7 official birthdays. 7 balcony moments that included George, Charlotte, and Louis, the next generation of the monarchy, and excluded Archie and Lilibet's parents entirely. The symbolism is not subtle. The balcony is the monarchy's most visible expression of who belongs to the institution and who does not. And for 7 consecutive years, it has said, without words, without statements, without any official declaration, that Harry and Meghan are not part of this picture anymore. Royal correspondent reporting confirmed this absence on June 13, 2026, noting that Harry has been making efforts to reconcile with his father, but that those efforts have not yet translated into any formal reintegration into royal life. The balcony remains empty where they once stood, and nobody, not Harry, not the palace, not any informed royal expert, can say with confidence when or whether that changes. If you want to understand the full picture of where Harry and Meghan are right now, subscribe to Royal Report Daily and stay with us. Because what comes next shows a couple who are moving in multiple directions simultaneously. Now let us talk about what Harry and Meghan are actually doing in June 2026. Because the balcony absence is only one part of the story, and the other parts are genuinely significant. On June 16, 2026, 2 days ago, Newsweek reported that Harry and Meghan had publicly backed British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's proposal to ban social media for children under 16. This is not a small gesture. The Sussexes have campaigned on the harms of social media since 2020. They previously welcomed a similar ban introduced in Australia. But backing a UK government proposal, and doing so in direct contrast to the position of major U.S. tech companies, was described by Newsweek's chief royal correspondent as their latest show of support for the British government in an area of direct conflict with the United States. Think about what that signals. Harry and Meghan, who have lived in California since 2020, who built their post-royal life in America, who signed deals with American companies and built relationships with American institutions, have now publicly supported UK legislation over the US tech industry's position. That is not a casual political statement. That is a signal about where their values sit, and perhaps about where their future sits. Simultaneously, Harry was in San Antonio, Texas, for the Warrior Games, the adaptive sports competition for wounded military personnel that has been one of Harry's most consistent and genuine commitments since leaving the royal family. Hello magazine confirmed on June 15th that Harry was photographed helping to barbecue at the event, showing his, as they described it, fun side, while Meghan stayed at home in California. Harry courtside at a sporting event. Harry serving food to veterans. Harry in his element, in a world that he built himself, independent of palace politics or brand strategy. This is the Harry that his supporters have always pointed to as the real one. The one who shows up for veterans because he means it, not because a communications team told him to. Like this video right now if this is the most complete picture of Harry and Meghan in June 2026 you have found. And subscribe to Royal Report Daily, because what comes next is about the approval rating that has sent shockwaves through the Sussex world. Here is a number that deserves serious attention. 19%. That is Meghan Markle's current approval rating among the British public, according to YouGov's Royal Family Favorability Tracker released on June 13, 2026. 19% positive. 66% negative. This is described by GB News, which reported the figure as an unprecedented low point for the Duchess since tracking began. It is a number that contextualizes everything else happening in June 2026. The as-ever business struggles, the balcony absence, the ongoing distance from the royal family, and it raises a question that the Sussex team has to be grappling with. Does it matter? Harry and Meghan do not live in the UK. They do not depend on British public approval for their income. Their audience is primarily American and global. British approval ratings are, in some sense, irrelevant to their daily lives in California. And yet, Harry has said repeatedly that he wants to come back to Britain. He wants Archie and Lilibet to know their grandfather. He wants reconciliation with his family. He is pushing for a Balmoral visit this summer. For all of those things to happen, for a meaningful UK return to be possible, the public environment in Britain matters. A 19% approval rating is not just a number. It is a measure of the hostility Meghan would walk into if she returned to Britain. It is a measure of the media environment that waits for her. And it is a reminder of why she has stayed away for 4 years. Royal commentator Shane Watson, writing in the Sunday Times and cited by GB News, offered an interesting prediction about how Meghan herself views a potential UK return. He said she was never going to step onto the tarmac at Heathrow as the Yoko of the royal family, somewhat chastened by cancelled deals and reduced contracts. She will return, he argued, as one of the Californian business elite, flying the flag of mindful wealth and success. Whether that prediction proves accurate will depend significantly on how the as-ever brand performs in the coming months. Do not go anywhere. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily and turn on notifications, because what comes next is about the most significant practical question facing Harry and Meghan right now. Security. Everything about Harry and Meghan's potential UK return. The Balmoral visit for Charles, the Invictus Games in Birmingham next year, the cousins meeting their cousins, the question of Meghan and the children being in the same country as the institution that spent years failing to protect them, hinges on one thing: security. Harry's legal battle to restore his UK government security detail has been ongoing for years. He lost his High Court appeal in May 2025, but since then, a formal review has been initiated. Sources close to Harry told multiple outlets in early 2026 that security is now a formality, nailed on, in the words of one insider. Mail on Sunday reported that Harry had been found to meet the criteria for security reinstatement. If that review concludes positively, and sources suggest it will, the practical barrier that has kept Meghan and the children out of the UK for 4 years disappears. And then the question becomes not whether they can come back, but whether they will. Harry has already demonstrated his willingness by making multiple solo trips to the UK in 2025 for court hearings, for the Wellchild Awards, for a private meeting with King Charles at Clarence House in September. Each trip, Meghan stayed home. Each trip, the children stayed home. The security resolution would change that calculation. And sources who spoke to Star magazine in early 2026 said Harry has high hopes for a family stay at Balmoral this summer, that he genuinely believes Balmoral could be the place where healing begins. Whether Meghan and the children make that trip remains, as of June 17, 2026, unconfirmed. Now let us talk about the most complicated relationship in this entire story, William and Harry. Because in June 2026, the Mirror published reporting that described the feud between the brothers as being at an all-time high. Royal commentator Kinsey Schofield told Sky News Australia, "Actions have consequences, and reconciliation with Prince William appears further away than ever before." She noted that Harry claims he wants his children to know the UK, but that the relationship with William cannot be rebuilt through press briefings. "We only know about Harry's intentions," she said, "because his team tells us through media. The actual face-to-face engagement that would signal real reconciliation has not happened." The brothers attended the same events in 2022 and 2023 and did not meaningfully engage. William has not publicly reached out. Harry has not publicly received any indication that his brother wants contact. And in between them sits everything that has been said and written and published since 2020. The memoir, the interviews, the Netflix documentary, the years of mutual silence and mutual public positioning. Schofield made a point that deserves to be heard. She said that William and Catherine's children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, are surrounded by joyful family bonds with the Tyndall cousins, the Beatrice and Eugenie cousins, the wider extended royal family network. And she suggested that Harry and Meghan's children, from the glimpses visible on social media, look lonely by comparison. Whether or not one agrees with that assessment, it captures something real about the cost of the estrangement for the next generation. Let us end with where things actually stand. Harry and Meghan in June 2026 are navigating more simultaneous pressures than at almost any point since they left the royal family. A lifestyle brand facing serious questions about its financial sustainability. An approval rating in Britain at a historic low. A security review that is reportedly moving toward resolution but is not yet concluded. A family estrangement that includes a cancer-fighting father Harry has not seen since September 2025 and grandchildren who have not visited their grandfather since June 2022. A brother whose feud with Harry has been described as being at an all-time high. An anniversary, 8 years of marriage, that passed in May 2026 with none of the A-list public tributes that marked their wedding. And yet, Harry is beaching for veterans in Texas. Meghan is sharing family photos of Harry in a girl dad t-shirt playing football in the sunshine. They are taking public positions on child safety and social media. They are writing emails to their children that the children do not know about yet. They are, by every observable measure, still here, still functioning, still moving forward, still, in their own complicated and contradictory way, trying. Whether the story of Harry and Meghan in the second half of 2026 is one of breakthrough or breakdown, whether security is resolved and Balmoral happens and the cousins finally meet and Charles gets to hold his grandchildren, depends on decisions that have not yet been made by people who are not yet ready to make them. This is Royal Report Daily, and we will be here every step of the way. That is all for tonight's investigation on Royal Report Daily. If this video made you think, made you feel, or made you see this story differently, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it means everything to this channel. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications, because we post new investigations every week and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Share this video with one person who follows the royal story, because the more people who know the real truth, the better. I'm your host. This has been Royal Report Daily. Stay informed, stay royal, and I will see you in the next one. 7 years off the balcony. One summer that could change everything. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily and be here when it happens.